The US federal government wants to establish a national Bitcoin reserve with all the Bitcoins they have collected so far. They also emphasize that together with the US, they aim to become the world's Bitcoin superpower. And that's what everything is leading up to. I mean, everything is now moving in that direction. Bitcoin inflows are almost neutral, slightly positive, but not as strong as before. Meanwhile, we see that it's now become normal to pump tens of millions into Ethereum. What's happening right now is crazy. Companies are simply buying Ethereum worth multiple billions of dollars. We notice that this hasn't been so extreme in the market yet, because all of this is happening OTC, of course, but just wait and see. The amount of Ethereum on exchanges is getting scarcer and scarcer. And then let's briefly talk about Bitcoin, and after that we'll discuss altcoins where I would still be accumulating. Because with Bitcoin, I find this zone particularly interesting. In this zone, I would open long positions again. From there, I could very well expect a bounce that might even head back toward the all-time high. And from there, it's also possible that we'll enter the next stagnation phase here, that we might just test the bottom in this area, maybe go back up again and stagnate a bit here. But what I firmly believe, and where I will definitely open some big trades, is in this area. In this area, I will definitely go long and wait until we head toward $123,000, because there's a lot of liquidity here right now. We have this liquidity down here in this area. That's why I'm almost certain that we will collect that. Additionally, we can also see a fair value gap in this area. And that would also be another indication that we could come back to pick that up. And here we also have another vector candle. We can definitely come back to collect this vector candle in a very relaxed manner. That's what I expect from Bitcoin in the medium term. At the moment, we've fallen below the 25 EMA in the short term, which of course suggests a minor correction in the near term. But as I said, starting from around $115,000 to $114,000, I'll go long again, and then I expect at least a bounce up to $118,000 to $123,000. From that range, I would slowly start taking profits. I don't want to beat around the bush, so today I want to introduce you to 5 projects where I would still buy spot right now. Because if you look at the monthly view for the altcoins, you can see there are a few coins that are performing well, but most of them really aren't. There are only a few projects that stand out a bit here. And what if I told you that we caught one of them perfectly, even the one that performed among the best here? It performed the second best here, and that's Enna. I introduced Enna to you weeks ago here in the video. Check it for yourselves. This is where I introduced Enna to you. Here, I showed you the revenue they generate. Then I also included the chart analysis for you here, so take a look. We were at 28 cents with Etna. I said, this is where I'm buying in. And a lot has happened since then. We went up from 30 cents to 80 cents with Athena. I made over $22,000 with this spot position, and that's why I'm introducing you to more projects like this today, because even back then, when I introduced Athena to you, I already had something in mind. And I mean, you can check for yourselves. Check it out yourselves. I mentioned Athena, and I've mentioned Athena often in the past few months when it was so cheap. Now at the moment, it's more expensive. Now, I don't even need to mention it that often anymore because my biggest position was placed here at 30 cents. But if you want to see my buys and sells in the future, join our trading VIP group. Here you'll find calls on where, when, and how I trade. Here you'll get market updates on how I currently see everything. There's also a sub-channel for when and how I make spot purchases. And by now, we also offer copy trading. And that's super important because copy trading is also simply passive income. I mean, this here is the statistics from our trader. Take a look at it. Over the past 180 days, we've been able to build this up continuously. It's not without reason that we can deliver such great signals. We actually have external traders on board who are extremely successful and have been doing this for decades. All of this is free. You only have to do one thing. You have to sign up through Weex. The link and a complete guide are in the description. We used to use BingX. Nowadays we use Weex. The advantage is that Weex is completely KYC free. You don't have to verify your identity or anything like that. Anyone can create an account there. And that's what I recommend to you because in this whole group you'll learn a ton of new things. Here we also have trading PDFs, and in the next few days we'll be uploading the first trading videos showing how, where, and what we trade. So basically, strategies for how we ourselves can trade successfully. As I said, if you want to take advantage of all this, check out the description. It's completely free, and Weex is a non-KYC exchange. That means anyone can sign up there. You don't have to verify your identity, nothing at all. And through our link, we have some of the lowest trading fees and a 20% deposit bonus. For example, if you deposit $1,000, you'll get an additional $200 as a trading bonus. you can already start trading with that. But this offer is only valid for 1 week, so make sure to check the description and take advantage of it. And even though I'm already so much in profit with a tenner, I'm opening another spot position with the following note: down here would be my stop loss. If we were to fall below here and the last low, I would close the trade because I want to see a higher high here. I want us to build up step by step. I don't want us to fall below again. If that happens, this scenario would be invalid. I would set a stop loss here. It's set pretty tight because that just gives us much better risk management. If we fall below here, fine, I've lost 3%. But if we take the trade like this, then I've made 40–50% profit, and that's what I want. Because I would take the first profits here, just below 98 cents. And that's basically the trade. That's how I would continue to manage the Ethena trade, because I'm very, very optimistic about Ethena. I mean, you can see how we're continuously building up here step by step, and that's exactly what I want to keep seeing. As I said, that's why if we fall below here, I would sell my position. I've set limit orders, but I've also invested again in the past few days, and I would only start partially selling my first positions just below 97 cents. The question, of course, is why am I still buying Ethena now? And there's actually a very simple answer to that, because the biggest crypto launch this year will be the USD1 crypto launch, since the stablecoin USD1 is the stablecoin of World Liberty Finance, the company owned by Donald Trump. And the President of the United States is about to launch one of the biggest fintech startups ever. I mean, just look at it. USD1 is the stablecoin from Trump's company, and it's already generating $200 million in revenue, even though it hasn't even launched yet. It's insane. The avalanche that's coming our way is something you can't even imagine yet. The entire stablecoin market is gigantic, and by now, the stablecoin market is one of the few sectors in this business that actually provide real utility. Stablecoins are just crazy these days. They're generating massive amounts of money, and from the moment Trump's USD1 stablecoin launches, Trump won't just be competing with other cryptos anymore. He'll be competing with banks, entire countries, and other fiat currencies. If this becomes successful, and it will, because 200 million in revenue before even launching is insane, then other countries will follow suit, and that's going to have a huge impact. I mean, this stablecoin launch is going to be the biggest event in the crypto market this year. That's how I see it, and that's why I'm betting on Ethena, because Ethena is also a great project. Ethena also manages stablecoins, and these days, Ethena is already generating up to $6 million within 24 hours. That's crazy. Ethena is also one of the few projects that actually have a real use case and generate an enormous amount of money. That's why I'm betting on this horse, with a great setup and a solid, reasonable chart analysis. That's how I approach the whole thing. That's it. That's all about Ethena. Besides that, I'm currently accumulating Manta as well, which is also a relatively new project in the top 100, but it's a good project too. And here we can also see that we had a low here. That was our absolute bottom, and here we're building up step by step, always making higher highs, and that's exactly what I want. I want to see higher highs here, and accordingly, I tend to think that we definitely have a good risk-reward ratio here as well. The project behind it is actually pretty relaxed, and that's why I would enter here like this. The stop loss would be at 21 cents, I would take the first profits here at 35 cents, and that's how I trade the whole thing. I'm also currently accumulating Arbitrum. I'm doing the same with Arbitrum because we can clearly see here that we're in a very, very nice uptrend, also forming higher highs here. And if this continues, that's exactly what we want to see. We also want to see an uptrend here. Why am I accumulating Arbitrum? Because with Arbitrum, we simply have to say it's a layer 2 platform on Ethereum. Right now, Ethereum is performing so well, and I think the money will be reallocated and will partially flow into the Ethereum ecosystem. And that's where a project like Arbitrum is right at the forefront. Arbitrum benefits tremendously from the ecosystem, and that's why I'm convinced we'd be making a mistake if we didn't bet on Ethereum's beta play here. It's exactly the same with Injective. I'm currently accumulating here as well, because it's also a great project. Here too, we're consistently building higher highs, improving step by step, and now we have an ascending triangle forming. And with an ascending triangle, it's simply the case that we keep building higher highs and progressing gradually, but have some difficulty breaking through the top. And usually what happens is that we break out once and then quickly reach new all-time highs, or at least the highest levels from that point on. With a chart pattern like this, the probability of a strong breakout is simply much higher. And Injective in general is a good project. It just looks like all we need here is a proper breakout. Then we can immediately target $25 or even $30. But I also like Injective so much because right now, Injective is the blockchain with the most transactions, almost twice as many transactions as Solana at the moment. Injective is a crazy project with an extremely high number of transactions and, accordingly, a lot of use cases. That's why I'm accumulating here. And as the last project for today, we have Hype. This is also an absolute banger, and I mentioned this project to you when it was between $15 and $30. I've mentioned this project to you several times over the past few months, and not without reason. Here, from a technical chart perspective, we simply see an inverse head and shoulders pattern. This suggests that if we break out above this level in a solid and sustainable way and retest it as shown in the example, we could actually rise significantly higher. A head and shoulders is also an extremely important chart pattern, and that's exactly what we're seeing here right now. I would invest here because I really like the chart and because Hype is generally one of the best projects in the crypto market. That's also what I've been drilling into you over the past few months. I've talked up Hype so many times because Hyperliquid is simply the project that generates 3 times more revenue than Ethereum. This project therefore has the highest revenue in the entire crypto market. That's really crazy. I mean, Hyperliquid gets 35% of the entire crypto revenue sector, so Hyperliquid earns 35% of that. It's an insane project. You can also see here in the chart, Hyperliquid has really built itself up nicely and is earning more and more money every month as they keep growing. And Hyperliquid is nothing special. It's simply a decentralized exchange where you can actually trade properly with reasonable fees, no KYC, and so on. And people love it, traders love the whole thing. In short, it's just one of the few projects that actually have a real use case here. And I'm telling you, 99.9% in this crypto market have no use case. Hyperliquid, on the other hand, is a project that generates millions in revenue every month. And of course, that flows back into the project as well, and so on. So truly one of the best projects we have here, by far.